There's a big difference between giving up and moving on. And it's a difference that in our heads, when it comes to being someone who wants to improve, has very blurred lines. In your mind, it's quite black and white in the sense that your mind goes, we're either doing this thing or we're not doing it. And if it's something we've perceived as good and we're not doing it, then we're doing badly. Where the grey area comes in with that is if you're not enjoying what it is that you're doing. And of course, there is a kind of somewhat of a sacrifice that comes with doing difficult things, which means you won't always enjoy it. But I mean, on a general scale, you could be a musician, let's say, and all the time that you're spending 10 hours a day doing your craft and you're working on your music, you are being, in the literal sense, productive. But if you're not enjoying any of that time, and equally well, you actually don't care about enjoying the time anymore, it's not something that you're looking and going, I actually want to be good at this anymore, you have to cross that gap, or the bridge rather, of your mind saying, well, if we're not doing something productive, then we're doing badly. We need to just carry on doing this thing even if we don't like it. You need to bypass that. And this is one of the many problems that comes with self-improvement that people don't talk about, is this idea that it's never enough. And self-improvement somewhat taps into like the primal instinct of the human to just do the best thing, do the thing that progresses us rather than what makes us happy. The easiest way that I have found to distinguish the difference between whether I'm stopping doing something because it's time to stop or because I'm tired and I don't want to do it is to just ask myself that question. Ask myself, why is it that I don't feel like doing this thing? And really go through the arithmetics on that. Go through it. I don't want to do this thing because I've noticed the last 3 or 4 weeks now it's genuinely not making me happy to do this. Go through it. Bring all of the thoughts in your head out, either onto a bit of paper or just out. Just talk to yourself. Works brilliantly for me, as you can see. But this is a really great method of getting through this problem, because your mind is very deceptive and it finds brilliant little ways of either masking the things that we should know or kind of highlighting the things that we shouldn't. Your mind is brilliant at forgetting the fact that actually you really don't want to do this thing and you haven't enjoyed it for a very long time, and will highlight the underlying fact that, oh, well, if you're not doing this, then you're not being productive. Well, yeah, but maybe we should have a pivot here. And that's what it comes down to. Look at what it is that you're doing, and if you're not enjoying it, just do something else. It's as simple as that. It can be so difficult and really a challenge to get away from a task that we did because we feel like, oh, we've invested our time in this, it's productive, we should just stay doing this. But there's always something else that has the same qualities and has an equal level of good. For me, I used to be a musician and I found myself just sincerely not enjoying it. I really didn't enjoy it in the end. So I moved on to something else. Now I'm doing this thing. And ultimately, all the time that you're just putting your energy towards something that is positive, that's fine. And a really helpful method that I've found, if you find yourself stuck between finding a new thing, if you've left one thing and you're going towards another thing but you don't know what it is you want to do yet, is just study. Simple as, just find some things you're interested in. It can be astrology, it can be geometry, it can be English, it can be math, whatever. Just find something and study it. There is never going to be a time where learning something isn't going to be helpful. And the beauty is, the thing that you choose instantaneously or first is likely going to have some correlation to what it is that you want to do. So for me, I knew I wanted to do this sort of thing, but before I knew I wanted to do it, I knew I wanted to learn about the mind. kind of comes together now, doesn't it? So don't get caught up on that. It's the biggest thing. Don't get caught up on if you're doing something that you sincerely don't want to do and you're stuck on it because you feel like you have to continue doing something progressive. Do not do that. I know the internet can preach and spout this message that really is not helpful when it comes to this. That we should always be doing something good and we should always be working towards something, and it's not about being happy, it's about being minted. That's bollocks. Find something you love doing, make sure it's productive, and the rest will follow. You have to have both. You cannot have a life where you're materialistically successful and emotionally unsuccessful. Or I tell a lie, you can have it, but you won't fucking want it. So let's put it that way. It's okay to find yourself in these positions as well. You don't have to find yourself constantly knowing what to do. Part of the journey and the dance of life is learning what it is that we need to do. We don't always know, and that's fine. If you find yourself in a position where you're not sure what it is you want to do, you don't know whether you want to do this thing or that thing, or you don't know whether what you're doing now you might want to do, you might not want to do, just take a break from it then. Take a week away from it and see what it is that your mind comes up with. See whether your mind wants to go back or see whether it wants to stay away. But don't worry about time on this, because time is of the essence. But if you rush the time that you have and you don't put yourself in the right positions mentally, you will not make the right decision if you had 200 fucking years to do it. So take your time and understand what it is that you find important and really make a conscious decision and effort to adhere to those human needs. Don't worry about stopping doing something just because your mind might say, oh, we're giving up. Your mind, quite a lot of the time, doesn't know what it's talking about. You will know in your heart of hearts whether you're giving up something because you're tired and you can't be bothered, or it's time to stop. You will know it. Just listen to your intuition and like the video.